Welcome to another edition of
Just Keep Going.
This is Christy.
I'm Greg.
Say hi.
Hi.
What do you think of your couch?
It's good and comfy. And look how big the TV is.
Uh-huh. That's your room, honey.
My bathroom.
Did everything get cleaned? Our little hallway. And here's the bathroom. Okay.
Here's your bedroom. How do you like it?
That's weird. Okay. Here's our master bedroom. Okay. It's not bad.
What is this?
TV.
You know?
We were planning on getting me a TV in my room.
No, we never planned on that. You made that up to try to make it happen. Okay. I can work with this. And it looks just like I expected it to look, so that's good. I will fancy it up.
Hey, honey.
Hey, Waddy.
What are we doing today?
We're driving all the way from Mears, Michigan to Grand Rapids, Michigan, which should take an hour and a half or more to go by a truck.
How's the weather today?
The weather today is much cooler than yesterday, thank God. But it's because there's thunderstorms rolling in. It is so foggy. But right now I can see a mile ahead of us on the road. So that's an improvement. And Shiona says she's afraid of having thunder and lightning. But hopefully we'll actually have that thunder and lightning, and we'll show her that it's nothing to be afraid of, and it's actually exciting when you're from somewhere that only has thunder and lightning like once every 10 years. So today should be interesting. And we're going to the camping world that's closest to us, which is also in Grand Rapids, and we're going to need to buy a bunch of stuff. And we're going to need to buy stuff that's going to be a lot more expensive than you're going to want to buy. And I'm going to have to try to convince you that we need those things. And now is the time to get them. And you're going to be like, honey, we just spent 20 grand. And I'll be like, yeah, I know. And now we need to spend like another $1,000 or maybe even more. Because we have to buy a bunch of stuff for the RV, including a fifth wheel hitch, and those are very pricey.
Yay!
It's time to charge my tablet.
Alright, say goodbye.
Goodbye. And we did quite a bit of research before we ever even left Juneau into buying a tow vehicle. It looked like there should be plenty in the Midwest for approximately $20,000.
And we had the trailer transported to our RV park and had a trailer for 2 weeks? And our time was running out.
It took longer to buy one than we expected because for some reason there weren't a ton of trucks available when we were actually there ready to do it. There had been plenty for months that I had seen online. And then all of a sudden, where did they all go? And we wasted some time because we forgot that people still smoke. And they smoke in their vehicles.
It's true. It's true thing.
Yeah. We drove to one dealership and we were driving there for one truck. And then I opened the door and I was like, oh, This vehicle has been smoked in. We can't buy it.
I mean, I wasn't there in person. I'm pretty sure I was with the kids in the car when you did that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. We're looking at Ram 25 and 3500s and F250s and F350s. We went with the F350 so that weight wouldn't be a constant stress, worrying about, is the trailer overweight? Have we done our math wrong? We didn't want to have to worry about that stuff every day. The one that we found was $21,000, and we got it at a Ford dealership in Holland, Michigan. I called our bank back home in Juneau. I told them, here's what we're doing, and here's the dealership's info for you to wire them the money. And the bank said, I'm sorry, we can't do that for you. And I said, what do you mean you can't do that? Basically, there was a lot of back and forth with me saying, but it's my money. I will tell you everything. I'll give you my social security number, my date of birth. Just ask me whatever security questions you can possibly come up with, and I will answer them all correctly. And just send us this money. We're in Michigan. We are buying a truck. We're doing this right now. And I was getting nowhere.
Well done, bank, to make sure that scammers didn't scam our own money out of our money.
Yeah. But it's my money. Oh my gosh. It was infuriating. Ultimately, we had to write a check. We did have a checkbook, but the checkbook was in the RV, an hour and a half away.
We were not buying the truck on that day. We had to go buy it the following day after returning to our RV and getting our checkbook. And we get to spend yet another day in the car with the kids.
And they weren't used to it yet, so we had to go back, like Greg said, the next day. It was an hour and a half drive each direction.
Mommy, you should move. Ta-da! So it's my first time trying Dippin' Dots, so let's see my reaction.
Okay, this is over the top. You're acting here. This isn't real. Tell us what you really think.
Oh, I love them.
All right.
All right, now as you can see, we're going to have to get across this little bridge here to get up onto the dunes. And we call it Termite Bridge because the bridge is made out of wood, and just as you would suspect, loaded with termites. Yeah. And I can see that you're frightened. Yeah, but you don't have to worry. We are probably not going to go crashing through the bridge into the raging waters below, right? Because we've designed a technique that's going to lighten the load up enough so that we can get safely across. Okay, but I do need your help. So as we pull up to the bridge, I need you to take a deep breath, okay? As we get on the bridge, just let it all out. Whatever you do, don't take another breath until we're safely across the other side, okay? Are you ready?
Sure.
Nobody's ready. Let's try that again. Are we ready?
I suppose.
There we go. Great. Yeah, we're gonna pull in the sleeves. Nap time or what? Here we go. All right, deep breath. Okay, let it out. Here we go. Drinking water. Yeah. That must be the last ride. Yeah. Well, if you wondered why we put those seatbelts on you, yeah. Check out the last guy who didn't think he needed his right over here. Hit a big bump a few years ago, shot him right off, stuck head first right there in the sand. And, yeah, we were going to pull him out too, but then we started to think, you know, what better way to remind people to wear their seatbelts, right?
That's right.
And he didn't complain, so we left him there. He's doing a pretty good job. Most people wear their seatbelts like they're supposed to now.
He's
so there
probably
you go.
dead.
Now from up here you can see almost the entire 1,800 acres of sand dunes that we have here at Silver Lake. All of them are owned by the state of Michigan now. So this is all part of the Silver Lake State Park up here. And the state has divided these dunes up into 3 different sections for you guys to use. So if you look to the north, you can see a few vehicles driving around over there on the very far north end of the dunes. That's what we call the ORV or off-road vehicle section. And that is where you can take your own vehicle or rent one here in Silver Lake and drive it around the dunes all by yourself over on the north side, right? And then we have this section right here that's now leased by Macwoods from the state so that we're allowed to drive our dune scooters out here on these trails that we've made for you. And in between the 2 vehicle areas, the biggest part of the do what I do here and close your eyes. This hill goes by really fast, okay? There we go, hands up! Hands up!
Oh my!
The next thing we knew, it was time to leave our first campground.
You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
I wish we could have stayed there. That was the nicest campground we've ever stayed at. And we started off trying to get out of there. So let's see. First, you've got to get everything out of the way of the slides. So you may be constantly bugging your kids to clean up after themselves. Well, in an RV, when you're moving on a regular basis, you really have to make the kids clean up after themselves because you can't have anything in the way of the slides. Get all that stuff taken care of. As you bring the slides in, Greg would have to go up on the roof for that.
I was up on the roof because there would be stuff that would fall on top of the slides, and we preferred to get that stuff, you know, out onto the ground instead of into the RV and have to clean the stuff up inside the RV. So I remember all the time I would have to climb up the ladder on the back of the RV and walk around on the roof with a broom. And I think the first time we were on the phone.
Probably.
We're on the phone. Okay, I cleaned off this slide. You can bring it in now. Yada, yada, yada.
But if you didn't do that and there were, you know, leaves or twigs or something on your slide and then you brought in your slides, that stuff is going to get caught up in the mechanisms that move the slides potentially. You don't want any problems with that kind of stuff, so it's always best to just make sure that the top of the slides are clean and dry. I got the kids and our drinks and snacks and the diaper bag and whatever else we needed into the truck with the air conditioning on so that the kids are safely tucked away. You need to fold up the stairs so that the exterior entry stairs are tucked away where they go. Make sure all of the hatches on the outside of the RV are securely shut and locked. And of course, if the awning was out, you got to put the awning in.
This was the first time that we were doing it. Everything took the longest the first time. We're trying our best to get everything to go, but they are now stuck in the car with nothing to do but complain.
But eventually they got used to the routine and we'd give Chiana her tablet, so that would help.
And we get things done faster too.
Every time we did it, we got faster at getting out of campgrounds. The first thing that happened that we ran into trouble with was raising our rear jacks because we weren't raising the rear jacks.
We tried to lift the front jacks so that we could hitch while the rear jacks were still down.
Whoops.
And it caused problems. It was not good. And we had a nice guy stop by and say, hey, you're doing it wrong. Your rear jacks. And I'm like, oh, thank you.
Yeah, we could have really screwed things up for ourselves if he hadn't stopped us. So thank goodness for fellow campers, and most fellow RVers are awesome.
Yeah.
Most are. Not everybody, but most.
A good portion of the people out there are really supportive and helpful to each other.
Which is really nice.
Good on you. You get all the kudos in the world.
We got the front jacks raised up, which is how you're supposed to start. So you get the front jacks raised, and then you hitch. You've got to put down your tailgate and get the truck lined up with the fifth wheel hitch, the part that's on the RV. Get lined up as best you can, and then start slowly backing up. And so I would do that part, and you would do...
I would direct you as best I can.
Yeah. It always made me nervous because you would almost always end up being directly behind me between the tailgate and the RV. And I knew logically that I was not going to squish you. But looking in the rearview mirror and seeing you between the truck and the RV, just, it was very anxiety producing. No matter how many times we did it, it was like, oh my God, don't kill my husband, don't kill my husband. The first couple times we did it was really alarming because once you're in the right position and you would tell me that we're in the right spot, I would need to back up until there was a very loud noise and kind of a...
Jolt.
Yes, a jolt. That's the actual hitching of the two vehicles together, is that noise and the jolt. And once that was done, you would always make sure that we're in the green.
On the hitch, there's the lever with a little panel next to it, and it always showed in 3 different colors to tell you what was going on with the hitch. Like, it was red, something was wrong, it wasn't hitched properly. Yellow was, this is ready to become unhitched. And green was always, this is connected. This is officially hitched correctly, or at least the machine thought so. If it switched from red to green, then you're good to go. You just gotta do all the right connections and put the pin in and make sure it's locked and secured, and that's what we did.
Make sure the brake line is connected to the little power spot on the truck.
Yep.
Otherwise, you're not going to be able to use the brakes that are on the wheels on the RV. That's very important.
Yeah, just a little bit.
And then the fail-safe as well.
Yes, the fail-safe. Get those as disconnected. We liked to wait for all of the hitching to be done to disconnect from the power, so that we would raise all the jacks, disconnect all the tubes, and put it all away. And this is the first time that we had done all that, and you had the honor of being the first to drive the car, drive the truck with the RV hitched. The first time we moved our house, and it was all you.
Oh my God, it was so stressful. Anyway, so I drove us for the first time, and it was really stressful and really scary, but we took it easy, and there wasn't much traffic, and it was fine. I did it. It was okay. We planned it so that we only had to drive for a couple hours, and the campground we were going to was called Gammy Woods. We got there, and we were so lucky that that was the first place that we went to, because the people there actually show you to your campsite and help you back in.
I think we probably would have had a very difficult time had they not helped us backing in, because backing up the RV was one of the hardest parts. And that particular campsite, they were probably doing this because they were in the middle of the forest. We were right next to trees in the woods.
Nothing was paved, not even gravel.
We could have very easily hit any of those trees if we had not gotten help and guidance in backing up the RV.
Thankfully, the guy who worked at the campground that helped us, he told me exactly what to do. Turn the wheel this way, all the way, or go this way just a little bit. And okay, back up, back up, back up, stop. He literally told me what to do. I followed what he said, and it was awesome. And somebody even told me that I did it like a pro, which was, shocking because it was literally the first time I'd done it. Thank God for that help, because that was one of the hardest sites to get into of all the places that we stayed. Mm-hmm. And that's where they didn't have us in a 50 amp spot. We were in a 30 amp spot.
That's right. It was electricity. Right. We only had a 50. We didn't have a 30 hookup. I remember now.
Yeah. 50 amp is what our RV is set up for. So with 50 amp, you can run whatever appliances you need. Run the air conditioning and the microwave and charge your phone and watch TV all at the same time. Everything's good. But 50 amp, you can't do that.
You mean 30?
Oh, sorry. Yes. 30 amp, you can run one air conditioner, and our RV has two. They sold us the converter connector cord so that we could plug in to their 30 amp power.
Yeah, and I'm totally not cynical about them picking that particular spot. And
So on the 4th of July, we left the Gammy Woods campground. We only stayed there for 2 nights, and we went back to Muskegon, and we spent part of the day back at the same beach on Lake Michigan where we had gone that first evening and saw that glorious sunset. The beach looked dramatically different. It was disgusting. There was trash everywhere. On the beach, there was trash in the water. I did not get in the water because I was so grossed out. It was really disappointing. We did have some fun. It was dark when we left. Our daughter and I went around and we picked up trash. We were just astounded at how much trash was on the beach. It was disappointing. We went and threw away our big bag of trash in one of the trash bins by the bathrooms at the beach, and we encountered a police officer. I said, "It's too bad you haven't been here all day writing tickets for littering because you could bring the city a bunch of money with all the trash on the beach right now." And the police officer told us that they actually have a beach cleaner, and I didn't know what in the world he was talking about. And apparently there's such a thing as a sand cleaning machine, or a sand boney, which is a motorized piece of machinery that goes across the sand. Apparently they do that every night, and it picks up trash and other debris that's washed up on the shore. So he wasn't bothered at all by the trash on the beach. We talked to our daughter about that and impressed upon her that just because they have a machine that comes along and cleans up the beach every night, that does not make it okay to litter. It's not okay. That night we boondocked for the first time in a Walmart parking lot, and it was hot.
one might even say miserable.
I remember being nervous because it was our first time. It feels really weird at first to just be parked in a Walmart parking lot and sleep there in your RV. But Walmart, Cracker Barrel, and
many other fine establishments.
Yeah, they allow you to overnight park. And as long as you're not making things difficult,
and as long as the city doesn't have an ordinance against it.
So if you've ever gone to a Walmart for a late night run and you've seen a whole bunch of RVs in the parking lot and you've wondered what that's all about, they're boondocking. It's really convenient because Walmart is everywhere, except in Juneau.
Sure. A lot of them are open 24 hours a day.
Which is also convenient.
Also convenient.
And a lot of them are pretty close to freeways, and it's free.
I just remember being so hot in the RV, I went and took the folding chair and went and just sat outside and watched the scenery and played Nintendo and just hung out in the middle of the night in the middle of a Walmart parking lot. Ah, what a time to be alive.
So we're here at the Silver Lake Whippy Dip, which has tons of
amazing sounding ice cream concoctions, shakes, sundaes, etc. And they have this lovely map of the US and of the world, and all these pins of where are you from, put a pin in it, and they don't have a single pin from Juneau. So, Gianna, you want to help me do the honors?
Look it, I got a popsicle named Batman.
And it looks like Batman, that's right. Okay, here. Okay, here's the pin in Juneau.
Yay,
Woohoo! Represent! Anyway,
Anyway,
thanks for listening.
thanks. Bye.
Bye.